Hey there, my name is Anthony Romano, and this is another quick video, hopefully this one's quick, on keto biohacking, but particularly the mitochondria, okay? So I just put out a video on this with a really cool thumbnail. Maybe it looks like this one in some way, but essentially that video talks about how the keto and fasted and 1 meal a day state, any state that gets you closer to ketosis, boosts the function of your mitochondria, okay? Because keto is a state where your body is functioning on a more mitochondrial form of energy, which is fat, okay? But this video is going to break down some other implications of this and really, adding on to that idea that doctors should be losing their mind, because this could be the #1 health discovery ever, even though it's very underrated. So, let's make this quick. Some extra tips to add on from that video, okay? Some extra things, some sprinkles and cherries on top. The most important one is that keto increases your oxygen uptake, okay? It increases your VO2 max, the maximum amount of oxygen you can use moment to moment. And there are studies on this. Maybe I'll post a picture of some graph here that probably shows, a shitload more oxygen being able to be used when somebody's in a keto state compared to a non-keto state. So this doesn't mean you have to do keto or something like that. It's simply that it's perfectly fine to do keto. This is our natural default metabolism. Now keep in mind, keto simply means not eating sugar. Too many people don't understand this. They haven't been doing it for 8 years like I have, and shameless plug. And essentially, they're unaware that keto simply means cutting out sugar, which is something anybody on any diet can do. And if you think about it, as I've made in other keto debunked videos, that the myth surrounding keto, that it's something that is starvation mode or something, is completely false, because very few countries in this world produce carbohydrates in the winter, right? It wasn't until the agricultural revolution that we were able to consume mangoes in the middle of winter, okay? It just simply wouldn't be available unless you fermented foods in certain ways that had sugar in them. And realistically, other animals would be getting them. They would expire, right? Because there's a ripeness period. And overall, keto is our default metabolism. This is why we store fat. This is why our brain is made entirely of fat, because our body wants to use it as the primary fuel. Makes sense. So now let's get into this whole oxygen thing, okay? Because the whole point of this video is that keto allows you to take in more oxygen. Now, if you know a decent bit about mitochondria or anything like this, everybody heard in 9th grade that it is the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, okay? You watch the Magic School Bus once, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Now, why is this so important? Well, if you stop receiving oxygen for a couple minutes and your mitochondria is unable to make ATP, and we die. So, without oxygen, of course, we know we won't be able to live. But think about the implications of what more oxygen, the #1 thing your mitochondria wants, are. You get to perform better, everything mentally runs smoother, and you get to take in more oxygen, which is why people, so on the VO2 max testing, ran longer, endurance activities are easier, there's less cellular waste being produced, and there's even carb energy being used more effectively, because this is simply the way that our metabolism was meant to be in default mode, okay? As I always say, the analogy here is that if your body was a car, carbs are luxuries. They're nitrous oxide. They're what, Vin Diesel steps on the gas for like a quick burst in Fast and Furious, okay? Fat can still get you pretty fast, okay? You can still get a gnarly speeding ticket with fat, but it is gasoline, particularly the high quality gasoline, right? The expensive one that nobody really buys unless they have a nice car, right? That is what fat is, and you can get pretty damn good mileage out of using fat as your primary fuel. It's simply that from there, nitrous oxide will burn out the engine if you use it the entire time. Now, this is obviously a gross overanalysis of carb metabolism, but essentially the point is that, we can last quite a long time on carb metabolism, but there are obvious downfalls of, eating in excess of anything. Now, last thing I'll say is that scientists should absolutely lose their mind over this, and why they aren't is beyond me, because literally every process in your body is made better by more oxygen. Take a moment to Google all the things that oxygen is related to in your body, and if you've ever, been in something like a sport or something when you're out of breath, okay, your ability to recover is partly induced by your ability to uptake oxygen. People with asthma, right? There's another problem for them. But I'm not going to break this down any further. I shouldn't have to, I'm not trying to explain and over justify why oxygen is very important for your body. And to me, it's completely ridiculous that this is not the most, glamorized scientific discovery that keto allows people to use oxygen better, because it allows the mitochondria to access fuel more effectively with less cellular waste, because there's no pyruvate being created in the citric acid cycle, or at least it's not being, created in excess waste. Okay, so that is it for this video. Consider ketogenic approaches in some way, shape, or form. It simply means cut out sugar. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to eat anything particular. It simply means give up sugar for a bit of time. You'll balance things out a little more. That's it. Anthony Romano. Peace.